Luke Skywalker kicks the crap out of the Knights of Ren on This Week in Star Wars Weekly. Hello everybody, it's Star Raptor here. Welcome back to the channel. I'm back a little bit sooner because every week I break down a list in Star Wars comics, novels, and more. I wasn't expecting to get a comic this week, however they pushed up. This is awesome. We got the second issue of Star Wars The Rise of Kylo Ren. This thing has been selling out all over the place. Issue number 1 is going for like 40 bucks on eBay, and there was literally no more on the shelf at the comic store that I go to, and luckily they held one behind the counter for me. So good luck trying to find this one. It is selling out for good reason, because what Charles Soule and Will Sliney and a team at Lucasfilm have done is giving us an essential Star Wars story. I mean, a lot of the comics are there and they're nice to read and are entertaining, but no, this one is crucial to understanding the sequel trilogy. We see that relationship between Ben Solo and Snoke and a turn from Ben Solo into Kylo Ren. We see an adventure in this issue between Lor San Tekka, Ben Solo, and Luke Skywalker. It is a phenomenal read that has lots of really interesting things to understand. So let's just jump right into it. We pick up right after the events of the first issue where Ben Solo is on the run. He thinks he killed Luke Skywalker in defense. He is going to Snoke, who has been in his life for quite some time. We'll get into that in a little bit. And they are explaining, like, where's he going to go next? He brings up the Knights of Ren, which he had seen before with Luke when he was training with him. He thinks he's going to go back to them. So that's where he kind of goes from there. There's a big flashback sequence with Lor San Tekka, with Luke Skywalker and Kylo Ren when they first come across the Knights of Ren. And then we end this issue with those 3 other Padawans that have been tracking down Ben Solo, and well, they've cornered him to this certain location where he first found the Knights of Ren, and they're about to fight off, and that will be issue number 3. So many nuggets of information to break down. I had literally over a page of notes, so stick with me, guys. This one's going to be a slightly longer video, and that's for good reason, because wow, there is so much to break down, starting with Ben hating his name. So he's talking with Snoke in the beginning of the issue, and he's saying, I'm named after 2 legends, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi, a person he have never met. And we have Solo, and he's actually going on about Solo, about how his father's name is not even really his name, it was made up for him. So just the callback to Solo, a Star Wars story, and really bridging the gap between all these different things is just so damn good, and it works so well in the story. We get a reference to General Brendol Hux in this issue. So if you're looking at the timeline, which by the way is represented by BSI before Starkiller Incident and ASI after Starkiller Incident. By the way, I have a video explaining all that. You can check it out right now. We know this is about 6 years before the events of The Force Awakens. Snoke, at this point, we have Ben Solo meeting him, and well, there isn't any First Order activity, but there's a little mouse droid thing that's saying there's a communication from Brendol Hux. So that to me is very exciting, because Snoke says, I don't have a lot of friends, but I do have a few. And he just kind of brushes it off. Ben asks who this general is. He has no idea, you know, the First Order is even around. So just the idea that Snoke is plotting all these different things is just so brilliant. We also have Snoke explaining that he never actually was born with his name, or he actually chose his name. Now, after watching The Rise of Skywalker, we know he is a clone. Is he self-aware that he's a clone? What is going on with that? Another very interesting tidbit. So getting into the flashback part of this story. First off, just seeing that Lor San Tekka is going around with Luke Skywalker, finding these Jedi artifacts, going through all the different reaches of the galaxy, is something that I've wanted to see since we've first seen The Force Awakens. We know that Luke Skywalker has been going around the galaxy. We are getting our first real glimpse of that, and seeing that Luke Skywalker is in his prime, and the fact that he knows Lor San Tekka, and that's why Lor San Tekka has that map that where he is, because they work together probably to find out. He has very good contacts. So really starting to tie this canon together in such a really cool way. And while this is going on, they're in this ship, where I really like that new ship design, by the way. Not sure what that ship is called. We have Ben Solo. He looks like he could be about maybe 10, 11, or 12, because if you're looking at the visual dictionary for Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, we know that he starts training with Luke about 19 BSI. So that would put him about 10 years old. So we know that he trained with Luke for at least 10 to 15 years in that realm, if I'm doing my math correctly. So to see that he's already getting this telepathic communication with Snoke is just crazy, because now this puts a whole new spin on the character of Ben Solo. With the redemption of Ben Solo in The Rise of Skywalker, we know that he had the darkness in him because, well, the Emperor engineered Snoke to kind of do all this, and it's explained in the visual dictionary of The Rise of Skywalker that, Snoke was there to tempt Ben, to get him to the point where we see him in The Rise of Skywalker with the Emperor. So, I didn't think that they would be communicating this far back. We know in The Force Awakens that Leia already knows about Snoke. She names drops him and said it was Snoke that got to him, and I think she really is right. Snoke could have been the reason why there was a darkness inside of Ben Solo that Luke Skywalker found out, because this was going on for the entire time. So to see that telepathically, not only that, but he is starting to sow the seeds. Snoke is starting to sow the seeds of deception inside of Ben Solo's head. Ben Solo's a little bit frustrated already that Luke Skywalker is not really giving him a lot to do. He's going on adventures, but he's not really doing a whole lot, and he's explaining his frustrations to Snoke, and Snoke is kind of stoking at the coals or the fire there. He's trying to build it up, you need to go somewhere else, and he's already putting in those seeds of doubt, which is huge. I didn't expect that to happen this early on in the training with Ben Solo. We're also seeing this little thing here about Luke having found a lightsaber when they approached this new place. It's the Jedi Order. He had found the lightsaber, and there was traps and stuff. I think he might be making a reference to Heir of the Jedi with this certain Rodian's lightsaber that ends up breaking anyway. It's very interesting. I don't know, maybe you guys know more than me about this other reference. But a reference I do clearly know is that Luke mentions Jakash Sanu's cache, and we see that in Volume 2 of Darth Vader, also written by Charles Soule, so you see that connection there he's putting. I love how Charles Soule really plants seeds in all his various works for Star Wars. Just brilliant right there. Talking about her cache, and we know there was a lightsaber throwing kind of thing, and we actually see those sort of devices in the background littered throughout this treasure trove of Jedi artifacts. Just really, really cool stuff. I also like seeing that Ben Solo and Luke are both on the same wavelength as far as their perception of the Force. They both realize at the same time there's a coldness, which could only mean dark side users, and that's when we see the Knights of Ren, and we see the leader Ren, who's this very kind of he's a cool kind of dude. For a bad guy, he's kind of cool, and we see him trying to talk about this and that, and then next thing you know, it's an all-out battle with 7 against 1. Luke Skywalker. We're seeing Luke Skywalker in his absolute prime, igniting the green lightsaber from Return of the Jedi and slashing their weapons in half. Mind you, he's not even mortally wounded any of these guys. He's more or less defending him and Ben and Lord Santeca. He instructs Ben Solo to just kind of guard Lord Santeca, and Luke just does work on these guys. It is absolutely magnificent. It was breathtaking for me to see Luke Skywalker, Jedi Master. We've never seen Luke Skywalker, Jedi Master, and actually see him just wiping the floor with these guys, using force pushes, everything. It gets to the point where Ren, the leader of the Knights of Ren, ignites his red lightsaber and basically says, hey, look, I'm not going to win this battle. I know I'm not, but I have a self-destructing lightsaber, so there you go. If you feel like you're going to actually try to kill me, I'll kill everyone around me. At that point, he tells Luke that he senses the darkness in Ben. Remember, the Knights of Ren are a sort of cult that only accept dark side members that have killed others to join in their ranks. They call it the Shadow, their version of the Force. And they straight up say that, hey, look, he's got potential with us. And Luke just lets him walk away. Luke just lets him walk away. And from that point on, we go into the future and we see Ben Solo going back to this place, finding the helmet that this guy put down, and puts the helmet on and actually has a telepathic connection through the Force, I'm guessing, with Ren saying to meet them at a certain place, and that's when we find these Jedi. But oh man, guys, that was almost too much to handle in a comic book. This is groundbreaking stuff. I'm not gonna kid you around. This is one of the most impactful comics I've read for Star Wars canon, period, because it really just opens up our eyes to seeing Ben Solo in a different kind of way, and seeing how he's being swayed by Snoke, and seeing his relationship with Luke, and he actually, says Luke is a legend to Ren when he's not understanding who Luke is, because apparently Ren had never found a Jedi before. And he's a very cocky guy, but also understands that he needs to flee when he sees what damage that Luke does to the rest of the Knights of Ren. So that to me is just really awesome stuff. And they also planted a seed for Project Luminous / the next Star Wars films that were kind of leaked by MakingStarWars.net. We have the High Republic is mentioned. So the High Republic, according to MakingStarWars.net, is going to take place like 300 to 400 years before the events of the Phantom Menace, and or at least before the original saga of the Skywalkers, and it's going to involve the Jedi going out to the unknown regions and exploring and setting up outposts, and that's exactly what they find where the Knights of Ren are. That's what Ben Solo and Luke Skywalker and Lorsan Tech are going after, some Jedi artifacts. So yeah, there you go. If it wasn't, kind of confirmed officially, I think we could be safe to say that is definitely what they're setting us up for Project Luminous. It's nice because, it's the announcement's got to be coming out sometime this month. They mentioned at New York Comic Con, but yeah, definitely really exciting stuff. And the artwork by Will Sliney, I don't think it could be more perfect. This guy, oh man, the way he depicts Kylo Ren, I keep saying that, but he's not Kylo Ren yet. Ben Solo, like just the Adam Driver likeness that he captures, just the insets on his lips, on his eyes, you can kind of see that, that kind of conflictedness in his nature. And then seeing Luke Skywalker in his prime, the beard, everything, just, it's so good. This is like candy to me, guys. This is so good. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this issue of The Rise of Kylo Ren. Are you guys blown away by it? As I am. Let's talk about it in the comment section below. Next week we can look forward to Star Wars Adventures issue number 30, which I will be talking about. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. I talk about Star Wars on a weekly basis. As I mentioned, I just put up a video about the new kind of timeline measurement that Lucasfilm is doing with BSI and ASI. So if you're into the canon as much as I am and you want to know more, make sure you go ahead and check that video. And do make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm getting very close to 1K subscribers, so if you guys are new to the channel, please make sure you go ahead and support me. It'll be very much appreciated. That's going to do it for me, Star Arthur. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also included 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at StarRaptor.